He sat in a studio chair on national television, cameras rolling, millions of people watching. He was asked a simple question: how much money do you have left? He paused. He said he wasn't sure of the exact number anymore. What he did know, after 15 years and $80 million, there was almost nothing left. 4 years before that moment, this man had everything. A $25 million deal with the Dallas Cowboys, a Super Bowl appearance on a broken leg, 6 Pro Bowl selections, a name on every sports highlight in America. He was, by any measure, set for life. So what happened? How does a Hall of Fame athlete earn $80 million and end up broke? Here is the part that should stop you cold. He never gambled it away. He never bought a fleet of private jets. He trusted the wrong people. And he never saw it coming. Could you? This is the story of Terrell Owens, not the football story. The money story. By the end, you will understand exactly how trust, blind, absolute trust, can destroy a fortune more efficiently than any addiction or bad habit ever could. Terrell Eldorado Owens was born on December 7, 1973, in Alexander City, Alabama. Alexander City is not a place you have heard of. A small, working-class town in the Deep South. Population just over 15,000. The kind of place where money is talked about in hushed voices, because there is never quite enough of it. His mother, Marilyn, was 17 years old when Terrell was born. A teenager, raising a child alone with almost no support. Terrell grew up primarily with his grandmother, a woman he would later call the single most important person in his life. 3 siblings, 1 small house. Not much else. For years, Terrell did not know who his father was. Then, around the age of 9, he found out. His father had been living directly across the street. He had another family, a daughter nearly Terrell's own age. Terrell could see his father's house from his own front door. That kind of discovery does not stay quiet inside a child. It shapes how they see the world. It shapes, more than people realize, how they relate to loyalty and to trust. The young man from Alexander City had one way out of all of it: football. At Benjamin Russell High School, Terrell barely made the team early on. He did not earn a starting spot until his junior year. But once he found his footing, something shifted. He was not just good, he was different. In 1996, the San Francisco 49ers selected him in the 3rd round of the NFL Draft. Pick 89. Not a top selection. Not hyped. Just a quiet, hungry kid from Alabama who had earned everything the hard way. What happened next took years. Then it became impossible to ignore. Owens made the 49ers roster. He competed. He worked. And season by season, he became something few athletes ever truly become: undeniable. By the early 2000s, Terrell Owens was one of the most feared wide receivers in all of football. 5 first-team All-Pro selections, 6 Pro Bowl appearances, 153 career touchdowns, among the highest totals in the history of the league. In 2005, he signed with the Dallas Cowboys. 3 years, $25 million. In 2008, he earned $13.7 million in a single season. He played through a broken leg in a Super Bowl. He made the impossible look routine. He was the kind of player teams built defensive schemes around. Between 2000 and 2010, Owens averaged roughly $7 million per year. Total career earnings, approximately $80 million in salary alone. For a child who grew up without enough of anything. For a boy who watched his father's house from across the street. For a young man who almost never got a chance to play at all. $80 million felt like proof. It felt permanent. It felt like the story had a good ending. That is exactly where the danger began. Here is where most people get this story wrong. When they hear that Terrell Owens lost his fortune, they assume they know what happened. A celebrity. Excess. Recklessness. That is not quite the story. Owens was not reckless in the obvious way. He was trusting. At the height of his career, he handed his finances to the people around him. His longtime agent, a powerful, well-connected man in the sports world, and through that agent, a financial advisor named Jeff Rubin, founder of a Florida-based firm called Pro Sports Financial. The message was reassuring. We're going to take care of you. Focus on football. We have your best interests at heart. Owens believed them. Why wouldn't he? They were professionals. They had credentials. They had relationships with dozens of other NFL players. He signed the paperwork. He went back to practice. But while Terrell Owens was on the field, while he was catching passes and winning games and giving everything to the sport, something else was quietly happening to his money. According to court documents and later regulatory findings, Rubin was placing Owens' funds into high-risk, heavily leveraged investments, without clearly disclosing the risks. Without the proper authorization from Owens, he was legally required to obtain. One of those investments was a casino project in Alabama, a bingo casino, which, it would later be discovered, was not even legal under state law. Rubin pushed the same investment onto at least 32 NFL players. More than $43 million in total from professional athletes poured into that project. Every dollar vanished. Meanwhile, Owens had purchased several properties across the country. His logic seemed sound. Real estate is a safe asset. If the worst happened, he could rent them. Then 2008 arrived. The housing market collapsed. The properties stopped generating income and started generating debt. And on top of everything else, 4 children with 4 different women. Monthly child support obligations approaching $50,000. Housing costs for multiple households pushing his monthly outflow past 6 figures. In the autumn of 2010, Terrell Owens finally did something he had not done in years. He sat down and demanded a full accounting of his finances. He asked to see the actual numbers. What he saw next would take the air out of any room. The money was gone. Not most of it, not some of it, almost all of it. $80 million earned across 15 seasons. Years of grueling physical sacrifice. Broken bones, torn muscles, career controversies that had cost him endorsement deals he might otherwise have had. All of it, gone. The Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, known as FINRA, investigated Jeff Rubin. Their findings were not ambiguous. They banned him from working in the financial industry for life. Their public statement used precise language. They said Rubin had taken advantage of professional athletes who placed their trust in him. That statement was accurate. It was also entirely too late. Owens turned to the legal system. He sued his former agent for $6.5 million, alleging fraud, negligence, and breach of fiduciary duty. He sued Rubin and Pro Sports Financial. He sued a lawyer connected to the financial network. Years of litigation. Legal fees. Depositions. Courtroom delays. All of that on top of losses already too large to fully process. Then something else happened. An associate, someone Owens had personally helped over the years, stole $270,000 directly from his account. The bank eventually returned the funds, but that was not the point. Owens would later say the theft destroyed whatever trust in people he had left. Think about what that means. A man who grew up watching his father's house from across the street, a man who trusted the professionals in his corner completely, and one by one, advisors, agents, associates, each one took something. By 2012, the IRS had placed liens against him for unpaid taxes across 3 separate years. His monthly obligations were staggering for a man with no current income. He was no longer in the NFL. Teams had moved on. He was, without softening the reality at all, broke. That same year, Terrell Owens appeared on a nationally televised talk show. The segment was not originally about money. The original topic was about his children, 4 kids he rarely saw. Missed birthdays, no holiday calls, absent in ways that mirrored his own childhood. But the money was inseparable from all of it. Under studio lights, in front of a live audience, he admitted it. The 80 million. Gone. No monthly income. Monthly obligations that could drain an ordinary person's entire annual savings in 30 days. In 2018, Terrell Owens was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He chose not to attend the official ceremony. He held his own. His estimated net worth at the time of that induction, approximately $500,000, the same sum he had once earned in less than 3 weeks. When researching this story carefully, 3 patterns appear that are not opinions. They are the exact mechanics of how this happened, and they are worth knowing. The first, he delegated without staying involved. Owens has said it himself in interviews and financial literacy talks. He took the reassurances at face value. He handed over control and stopped asking questions. There is nothing wrong with trusting a professional. There is something dangerous about trusting one completely, for years, without ever verifying what they are doing, no matter how credentialed they appear, no matter how many clients they have. The second, he confused a high income with permanent wealth. $80 million sounds like an inexhaustible number, but income is not wealth. Monthly obligations over $100,000, spread across child support, multiple households, and properties that no longer generated revenue, make even a large fortune fragile. The speed of the outflow matters as much as the size of the inflow. The third, he trusted the chain without examining any of the links. He trusted his agent. The agent recommended a financial advisor. Owens trusted the advisor because the agent vouched for him. That is a chain of faith, not a chain of verification. When the weakest link broke, everything attached to it broke as well. Jeff Rubin eventually defrauded at least 32 NFL players, not through simple theft, through unauthorized accounts, forged signatures on documents, and investments placed without adequate disclosure. A scheme complex enough that financial regulators took years to fully untangle it. The lesson is not that financial advisors are dangerous. Most are not. The lesson is that no one cares about your money as much as you do. Not your agent, not your advisor, not your lawyer. You are the only person for whom its disappearance is truly catastrophic. Terrell Owens did not disappear after the money was gone. He spoke at financial literacy events. As of recent years, his net worth sits around $500,000. After $80 million, he is still working, still trying to rebuild at an age when most people with his career would be comfortably retired. But here is the thing worth sitting with after this story ends. He was not uniquely naive. He was not reckless in ways most people would easily recognize in themselves. He worked hard. He paid the people he trusted. He went back to doing the thing he was best at. And while he was doing that, the people he paid were deciding what to do with his life. The question this story leaves behind is not about football. It is about you. Do you know where your money is right now? Do you know exactly what it is doing? Or are you trusting that someone else, somewhere, has your best interests at heart? If this story made you think differently about trust and money, share it with someone who needs to hear it.